Hello everyone. Today myself, Battala Pavitra Naidu,
And myself, Srishti Singh.
are going to provide some solutions to reduce the carbon footprint. Well, Srishti, my eyes are inflammating since last few days, and the doctor is saying it's because of deadly pollution levels in our city.
Yes, I am also having frequent breathing difficulties because of this dangerous pollution level here.
It's high time to think about pragmatic solution to this problem, which is leading to existential crisis in big cities like our beloved Delhi.
You're right. I have been researching since last few months about this topic. There are multiple factors like vehicle exhaust, heavy industry such as power generation, small scale industries like brick kilns, suspended dust on the roads due to the vehicle movement, construction activities, open waste burning, combustion of fuels for cooking, etc., causing this pollution.
Each factor needs to be addressed properly to bring down the level.
I have ideas about mitigating the vehicle exhaust. About 32% of total GHG emissions in New Delhi is on account of vehicles which are mostly petrol or diesel based internal combustion engines, ICE vehicles.
Great. I've also thought ways to reduce the carbon footprint generated by households, meeting household energy demands with renewable energy instead of fossil fuel based energy.
Could you elaborate it?
Yeah, sure. Residential energy use accounts for roughly 20% of greenhouse gas GHG emissions in the country. If the electrical grid is decarbonized, then the residential housing sector can meet a big share of emission reduction target under the Paris Agreement. Meeting this target will also require deep energy retrofits and transitioning to distributed low carbon energy sources. Solar energy. With the technology to harvest it, there is a limitless supply of solar energy, meaning it could render fossil fuel obsolete. Relying on solar energy rather than fossil fuels also help us improve public health and environmental conditions. In the long term, solar energy could also eliminate energy costs and in the short term reduce your energy bills. Many federal, local, state, and federal governments also incentivize this investment in solar energy by providing rebates or tax credits. Wind energy is a clean energy source, which means that it doesn't pollute the air like other forms of energy. Wind energy doesn't produce carbon dioxide or release any harmful products that can cause environmental degradation or negatively affect human health, like smog, acid rain, or other heat trapping gases. The use of biomass in energy production creates carbon dioxide that is put into air, but the regeneration of plant consumes the same amount of carbon dioxide, which is said to create a balanced atmosphere. Biomass can be used in a number of different ways in our daily lives, not only for personal use but business as well. Methane captured from landfills or by burning municipal waste is used as a fuel. Hydrogen can be used as a clean burning fuel, which leads to less pollution and a cleaner environment. It can also be used for fuel cells, which are similar to batteries and can be used for powering an electric motor. Hydroelectric power is a very versatile and can be generated using both large scale projects like the Hoover Dam and small scale projects like underwater turbines and lower dams on small rivers and streams. Hydroelectric power does not generate pollution and therefore is a much more environmental friendly energy option for our environment.
Wow, these are good points. Renewable energy is actually a boom. Even I have thought of some ways to reduce carbon footprint, like replacement of fossil fuel based internal combustion engine ICE vehicles with battery powered electric vehicles as well as hydrogen powered fuel cell electric vehicles. To mitigate this pollution problem of big cities posing threat to the life of resident people, battery powered electric vehicles as well as hydrogen powered fuel cell electric vehicles may be introduced to replace the existing vehicles in a phased manner. India is sure to gain a lot by converting its ICE vehicle fleet to EVs. India introduced the National Electric Mobility Mission Plan 2020 in the year 2013 with a vision to become a leader in electric two-wheeler and four-wheeler world market by 2020 for addressing the multiple issues of national energy security, vehicular pollution, and the growth of domestic manufacturing capabilities in environmentally sustainable manner. Government of India has a vision to make a major shift to electric vehicles by 2030, aligned to its commitment to the agreement. Indian car manufacturers like Riva Electric Car Company and Indian app-based transportation network companies like Ola are working along with e-commerce companies for making electric cars more common over forthcoming decades. Energy Efficiency Services Limited (EESL) is a joint venture of PSUs of Ministry of Power, Government of India, is taking the lead in the procurement and sale of electric vehicles in India. It has been found in various studies that emissions from EVs are up to 43% lower than diesel vehicles. EVs have lower lifetime climate impacts than vehicles with internal combustion engines. BEVs reduce the emissions from 244 to 98 gram per kilometer. In a fully renewable system, that is, when all energy requirements for all processes involved, as well as battery charging, is met with renewable energy, the BEV emission might decrease to 10 gram per kilometer. The emissions may be reduced to nearly zero with hydrogen-powered fuel cell electric vehicles if renewable energy is used for hydrogen production. Adoption of BEVs and FCEVs would surely help to bring down the vehicular pollution, especially the GHG emissions, drastically in metro cities like Delhi. But this requires wide infrastructure building and huge investments. Battery charging stations, along with swapping facilities and hydrogen dispensing stations, need to be established at requisite distances so that people don't face operational issues on switching from ICE to BEVs and FCEVs. Government
Wow,
policies and regulations are also needed for a push in this shift from ICE to alternative fuel and technology in transportation sector. That was my point.
wow, Srishti. Great.
Thank you, everyone.